That adequate notice of this meeting has been given and it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at second, the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Please call the roll.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Here.
Jaskowitz.
Here.
Parikh.
Here.
Hurricane.
Present.
We also have with us our board attorney, Mr. King, our board he's not here, our board engineer, Mr. Holloway.
Here. Present.
Can you start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oh, here goes
Here we
Mr.
go.
Chapman. And here comes Mr. Reddy. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point in this evening's meeting, is there any member of the public that has any business to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? I hear none and see none. We're gonna go right into the cases. Norman Chapman, 135 Fox Hill Road. C variance to legalize a patio and walk.
Sir, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give before the board is true self you got?
I did.
And for the record, you're Norman Chapman, you're the owner of the subject property. All right, you can have a seat, Mr. Chairman, the witness is sworn, applicants.
So you have an existing situation.
Yes, sir.
You want to increase your impervious coverage by an additional 5.5%, 4.5%, 4%. And you have a 50 by 103 foot lot, is that?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
And you are in the R3 zone. What's R3? Is that,
That's 15,000. Yeah.
Okay. Want to tell us how this happened?
1988, 89, I did an addition on this property and got my CO in April of 1990. This walkway and patio was existing since that time. The survey that's before you was issued to me and exactly as it is. I guess at that time we didn't need to cover the impervious or whatever calculations. What happened was a few months back, through the years, I had settlement in the patio and sidewalk area and I tried to fix it. And as I was fixing it, I have somebody called the town. All I was doing was removing the bad spots, put it in the backyard, and put them right back exactly in the same order. I didn't add anything or didn't change it, nothing at all. Tried to repair it.
But you never got a variance for the impervious coverage, is that correct?
I put in an addition on the existing house.
And you're saying it was there when you put the addition on?
No, when I did the addition, I improved the whole property, everything. This is 31 years ago.
You didn't get variances to put the addition on?
I did, yes.
You did?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that usually shows up.
It's got nothing to do with the addition. The sidewalk settled through the years, and I had potholes and it was dangerous. I just tried to fix it.
Was the sidewalk part of the variance you got years ago?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't even know, but, you know, I did it while I was doing the addition. I put a 10 or 11 by 24 foot addition to the back of the structure. And when we excavated...
You came in front of a board like this?
Yes, yes, sir.
Was the garage there too?
The garage was existing, yes. This is a log cabin that was built in the early 1920s.
I think I actually remember that application.
That's good.
No,
Good,
not
I want
that,
it.
not that, no.
1920.
No, what was he, what'd you say?
You were here, yes.
No,
He ran 90, 91, I think, yeah, it was when I was first on the board.
Yeah,
And there was a lot of concern about the position of the garage or some,
the garage is log also, it's been there.
right, but there was some quirk and we had some finicky members in those days
Yeah.
too. We had a couple of lawyers that were a little off the wall.
I checked.
You weren't on that, no, not you, Bertie. Not you.
Present company.
I don't know, I think it's been there too long to get excited about it.
Well, plus we don't have the old resolution to know what.
We got nothing.
Wasn't.
I didn't add anything.
Your testimony is the amount of pavement that's there today that you repaired
Yes,
was the same amount of pavement.
I use the exact same pavers, I have pictures.
That's all right. The same
Yeah.
amount of area was in
Exactly the same.
1990 or whatever.
There was
it
nothing wrong with the pavers, it's just the ground sunk, and I had potholes
So
like,
it's been there 31 years or so.
yes, sir.
Well, and plus it's pavers, not, so.
Yeah, it's not cement.
Any other questions by the board?
No.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on testimony given? I hear none and see none. Mr. Chapman, there's nothing else to... You still building houses in town or not? I
Yeah,
haven't seen you in a long time.
yeah,
Long time.
not here so much as I used to, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but I've been here several times.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. It's a de minimis request, and I don't think it's worth us beating the dead horse at this point. Someone may frame a resolution so we can move on?
Sure, application 21:29, Norman Chapman, 135 Fox Hill Road, Block 113, Lot 11, Zone R3, recommend granting a C variance to legalize a patio and walk contrary to section 430-35, column 13.
Second, ready?
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Parit.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Approved.
Result is the variance is granted. We'll memorialize this, next couple of weeks it'll be memorialized,
Okay,
and then you'll get your papers.
very good.
Okay? Good
Thank
luck,
you.
Mr. Chapman. Take care.
Good luck.
You used to represent, you used to represent, that's all right.
No, Chapman. George and Holmes and John, can't believe I just lost his name.
Okay, let's call case,
John
21.
Byron.
2132 Allison and Devin Moore. Please come forward.
They
Moore,
don't seem to be here.
Moore here? Moore is not here.
No more.
Okay, let's go to the next case.
Okay.
We're gonna call case, 2162, Sinuvasan Sambandamorte. How did I do on that?
Yeah, Srinu, you can call me Srinu.
Okay.
Full name is Srinivasan.
Sir, could you raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony about the people for the board, the truth so help you God? And you're the owner of the subject property?
Yes.
I take you, so you're gonna have a seat, Mr. Chairman, the witness in that case,
Okay. Okay, you are in Lake Hiawatha, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And you're on Norman, and you have a 40 by 100 lot in an R4 zone, which minimum lot standards in that zone is a 60 by 100 lot. So you're already starting off in a hole because you don't have the required square footage. So you want to put up a rear shed, existing is 5.5, allowed is 6, proposing 3.5. That's rear yard. Have you talked to your neighbor behind you? Is there any questions on his part as to what, moving it that couple feet?
Yeah, they don't have any problem. The place where I'm trying to put is more within my limit. I talked to them, they said they don't have any issues.
Okay.
However, I followed all the procedure to distribute the letters throughout my neighborhood.
Okay. All right, now building coverage, you're asking for a 1% increase in building coverage and a 4% increase in impervious coverage. And you want to add a 120 square foot patio extension?
Yeah.
You have an existing patio there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you just want to kind of square it off a little bit, huh?
Exactly, yeah.
And the shed, an 8x10 shed, that's under the, you don't even need a building permit for that. 8x10.
Well, do you need a roof? You gonna want to put a roof over the new patio or the whole patio?
The old patio just had only the, the concrete base.
Yes.
There is no shed where I have to put,
Your application says you want to put a roof over the patio. Just the new part or the?
no, just, there is no roof, it's gonna be just only
There
the,
is no roof.
no.
Just an open patio. Is that going to be
Open.
concrete or is it going to be
It's a
pavers?
concrete.
Concrete?
Is there a roof over any of the patio?
John,
No.
that's the other application.
Not now.
They
That
give
is-
you
oh,
that.
There we go.
Thank you.
Strike that.
Okay, I got
We
confused.
skipped one, that's
Yeah,
the problem.
quick one question. What is gas mower?
Like the regular mower.
Lawn mower?
Oh, yeah,
Lawn mower,
yeah.
that's okay.
Exactly. Since I
Yeah,
had
is a gas
my-
mower is.
Yeah, in the last term, I lost already 2 mowers because it was raining.
No, that's okay, I got it. I was thinking some gas kind
Oh,
of
no.
thing,
I might have
hazardous.
written it
Okay.
wrongly, but that was.
Okay.
Any other questions by the board?
No.
Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on testimony given? I hear none, see none. There's nothing else you'd like to add, right?
Sorry?
There's nothing else you'd like to add, right?
No, these are the 2 things. I just bought the house recently.
Oh,
These
welcome
are
to the
2 things.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application, in support of this application? I hear none and see none. We have another de minimis application, is that correct? What do you think?
I'll just move it if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
I move we grant the variances requested in application 21:62. I'll skip the name, 7 Norman Avenue, Block 557, Lot 34, in the R4 zone, to see variance to construct a shed and patio expansion contrary to section 432C and section 435, columns 10 to 136. I move that we grant the request.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Any discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Parikh,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes. Results of variance is granted. We'll memorialize this at, what meeting?
Next meeting.
Next meeting, and then you'll be free to proceed.
It'll be
Okay.
or possibly the meeting after.
Yeah,
just in
next one
case.
is the
You can check with,
Virtual.
you can check with Nora a week from Thursday, a week from tomorrow,
2 weeks.
or otherwise it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, did more show up?
No,
No more.
no more, no less.
Now, let's, we'll give them a few minutes, and then we'll carry the case to 7:30 and see if we can, I don't know.
Yeah.
So she has this one ring down real.
Actually, one of them is actually used.
Nora, is that an SED one zone?
Is it 10 or 3? I forget. I'd have to look.
No, this is all we're working on. So
She's the SED, is that what we're asking?
Okay. I know. It's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna
Okay.
pause the video.
Come on up.
Notice that,
No problem.
yeah.
Are both of you
That's what your
gonna
notice said.
testify? Okay, if you could both raise your right hands, you swear firm testimony you're about to give before the board is yourself, you got? And for the record, you're Allison and Devin Moore, and you're the owners of the subject property. And have a seat, Mr. Chairman, the applicant slash witnesses are sworn.
Okay. A Mount Tabor property, correct?
Correct.
Big one.
You have a 90 by 110 property. Wow. That's like 19 lots in Mount Tabor, isn't it? Normally, we're dealing with ones that are like 30 by 40, and 40 by 20.
32 by 32.
We're at the top of the hill by the water tower front.
Okay, so you want to add a detached garage, is that correct?
Correct.
You want to put a pool in your front yard. You want to have a side yard setback variance for the detached garage. You want to have a side yard setback for the patio. The height of the attached garage, the building coverage, and impervious coverage. Okay, so
And they got 3 front yards.
Yes. 3 front yards.
you're on 3 streets. So there's a property over on Knoll Road that borders on 3 streets. You know, as you go around the curve and all the way
Mount
to
Tabor last week.
Did we have an,
Yeah,
I always,
that's our neighbor right behind us.
Let me ask you a question. Have you seen the engineer's report?
I just got it today in the mail.
Just got it today.
We brought it over.
He raises quite a few questions in terms of the water running down the hill.
Yeah, I have some questions too.
Do you think it would be management of time for you to postpone this to the next meeting and meet with the town engineer? Because I don't think we're gonna, Chaz, design a drainage plan on the fly.
No, I didn't. It's a residential application. I haven't seen any of
Right.
this.
Because we're gonna get in, he's raised a lot of questions.
Yep.
And we don't wanna sit here and play engineer and jump around and come to no conclusion. I think you'd be better off, I mean, is there any urgency in getting this garage built or the pool? I mean, the pool obviously isn't an urgent issue.
Yeah, I mean, we lost a year because of COVID. My kids are getting older, so I'd like to not lose another summer.
Well, yeah,
just saying.
we're talking about bouncing back. Are we doing 7 o'clock again?
I'm booked.
But anyhow,
She's booked for the year.
do anything.
I'm scheduling January.
Even in January, they won't use the pool.
maybe we can go through a little of some of the case, just maybe get some of the points out of the way.
Sure.
Height of the detached garage. Any reason why it has to be that high?
We're putting office space above it. I work from home,
Like a home office?
home office.
You work from home?
Yes.
Okay.
What is your occupation or profession?
I'm in HR, I'm a talent manager.
You work for the company or is it your own business?
No, I work for a company.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
No clients will come and visit your house?
No.
Oh,
Everything is remote.
yes.
The position of the garage,
It's at the end of the driveway.
it's
already.
where it has to be, right?
Yeah, it's right at the end of the driveway where it's already, the driveway's already existing. It's right at the
Okay.
end of that.
Any chance the pool could be moved to avoid one of the setbacks?
Well, again, like you said, we have 3 front yards.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
I don't
right.
think that's possible. When we did our addition 2 years ago, our permitted building space is about this big.
Say that again?
It's like 4 feet.
We have a 4x4 or 5x5 because of the 3 front yard setbacks, we don't really have in Tabor, I mean, it's a piece of property about,
I'm pretty familiar
Yeah,
with
by
it, just,
yeah.
I didn't understand what you said.
what I'm saying is, he was saying, can we, to avoid a variance, can we move the pool?
I'm not trying to totally avoid a variance, I'm trying to mitigate a variance. How about if you turn the pool
Well, you
90 degrees?
Turned them, yeah.
It would just take up so much of the yard. that
But it would
we
also
don't
still
use that.
hit both setbacks. There's a setback,
What's
there's
the
a setback
grade?
on West Park Place as well as the side yard.
What's the grade of the property? Is it running from north to south?
It is running from west to.
Does the water run
northeast.
down to John Street, John Ave?
It runs, yeah, it runs from West Park Place towards St. John's.
Okay.
So it'd be west to northeast.
Well, I got an East Park Place here, is that?
I'm sorry, East Park Place to St. John's. So, west to northeast would be the
Okay.
property.
Have you had any engineering work done, looking at the property in terms of,
Well, we went for a variance last year for.
I mean, in terms of this current application?
Yes.
Have you looked at, has anyone, like, that gentleman sitting over there, who's an engineer, have you had anybody like him, look at the property and say, this is what you need, this is, here's your issues? Kind of in line with what Mr. Leza is saying here.
Yeah, well, I
Yes,
just,
the architect.
yeah, we have the architect. I'm a little, I
talking-
don't understand, and maybe you can fill me in, because right now, there's a paved 4-car driveway. We're proposing to put a garage at the end of that driveway with a pitched roof. Right now, if the rain falls, it falls and runs down my driveway.
We're asking you to improve the situation.
No, I'm
Okay.
just saying.
No, I understand that,
Well,
but if you want all these variances, you're gonna have to make the drainage either equal to or better than. And
It
we
will
like better than.
Yeah, it will be.
Oh.
Because right now, all the water hits the driveway and runs down. With a pitched roof, half that water will shoot back into my yard. It won't go down the driveway. So I'm picking up half that
This is
drainage.
building on the existing driveway.
Let's,
Right.
let's not play engineer
Oh,
with this.
oh,
Is the
Sorry.
garage on top of the existing driveway?
It
Yes,
takes up the top.
So that's blacktop already?
yes.
So there's no new blacktop
No.
other than the roofed patio behind the garage?
Correct, that's on the high side of the property, that's, the property slip, I guess, will be on the high side of the property.
I'm
the yard.
gonna suggest to the board exactly what I suggested early on. I think you need to sit down with Mr. Lisa.
Or your own professional.
Yeah,
You may wanna sit down with your own professional, and I don't mean your architect, I mean an engineer
Okay,
who's gonna map this out for you so that you can go to Mr. Leza with a plan, because Mr. Leza is not gonna give you a plan. He's gonna
No.
tell you what he wants, but
okay,
he's not gonna give you a plan. And you've got a substantial case here.
okay.
This is not your typical residential, I wanna put an addition on my house.
Is there a water issue with your neighbors now?
No, and the town just came through and put in 4-inch Belgian block throughout the whole town. So,
That doesn't mean anything.
I
Now,
thought it was drainage.
okay, I thought they did that for drainage.
can we,
have gutters.
can we come up with another 7 o'clock meeting and maybe in, like the first week in, December?
You know what, I'll put them on December 15th, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have a special meeting on December 15th at 7 o'clock. That gives you ample time to get all your ducks in a row. I would talk to an engineer. You want to talk right now, there's a gentleman over there.
Yeah, I'm sure the architect will recommend it too.
We started this process back in April. Why did we just get a letter today that we now have to postpone another 2 months?
The only thing I can tell you is there's generally 9 volunteers up here and 3 professionals, and we have nothing to do with the operation of administration. If you have that question, I would call the mayor's office and say, why did this happen? Because he runs the town. All we do is deal with the paperwork we get from these in-house professionals. I apologize if this has happened like that. I don't know what his workload is either. We're dealing with dozens of applications every month, really, not dozens.
This-
But we're-
I mean, no disrespect to.
No,
anybody on this panel.
I'm just saying I can't answer the question. I
So
can't answer.
Mr. Leza works for the town?
Yeah,
He's the township engineer, you can ask him your question.
He's
As
a
you've
township
noted,
employee.
It's dated September 22nd,
Right, which was last week.
right.
If the pool was above ground, would any of this change?
No, we don't basically count the water area as impervious, but in the calculation, it's there. So you ought to figure that out.
We have to consider it, but we mitigate our, the fact that it's not a impervious coverage in terms of runoff. It's a collector of water.
Right.
So we try and help you out along those lines. But as Mr. Chadwick said, this is, you gotta be sure what you're doing it's gonna be good for everybody. You may find that, it's gonna drain into your backyard, but maybe that's not the right thing.
Okay.
You may want to put in, I don't know what the soil is like up there. Do you know what the soil is like up there? Is it clay?
You find some rocks.
I haven't done many soil tests.
Oh, okay. So, what's that?
You're gonna have to push it back a little bit, but
Okay.
the pool wasn't gonna get done this,
No, it
we
wasn't.
used it this year.
It was, again, like.
I
you
mean,
said,
we'll,
to get our
we'll
ducks
try
in
and,
a
we'll
row.
try and expedite it as much as we can, as long as you come back in December.
So
And
December
if
15th?
we have all the information we need. Now, is there anybody here for this case? Anybody else? You understand we're carrying this case to December 15th. There will be no further notice. So if you want to come,
7:00? It'll
December
start at
15th.
7.
Because I'm the neighbor across the street.
Okay.
here,
That's why I'm here, because
we don't need to know why you're here. If you want to come back on December 15th at 7 o'clock.
okay.
Okay?
And talk to them about your concerns.
Yeah, if you have
So
any
they'll be
concerns-
taking part of whatever they deal with the engineer.
Speak to your neighbors if there's any concerns, because you don't want them surprising you on December 15th. Okay? Motion to carry this case to December 15th, 7 PM, with no further notice, and you'll have to give us an extension if time is required.
Okay.
Nora will give you the paperwork to fill out.
So moved, Snyder. Yeah, you just have to send me an email. Send me an email tomorrow, I'll tell you what to say.
Okay.
Okay, there was a motion by Ms. Schneider.
moved, Snyder.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. I just got it. Okay, 7:31, we can go right on. You good, Nora?
Yep, hold on just one moment.
All right, take your time, let me know.
Here.
What's Blue Foundry's name?
Son. That's it, I think.
I apologize.
Well, they wanna carry it again?
Yeah. Well, I drove past my old office today, and the parking lot is done.
I thought I saw
The wall in front is down. They took
Go
that,
ahead.
they took that wall down in the hour I was getting my massage.
Huh?
There you go.
And that
We do
parking
it.
lot, no way it looks big enough. No way. it looks big enough. You ready, Nora?
Yes, I'm ready.
Well, it's big enough now, there's nobody.
Oh, motion to adjourn the 7 o'clock meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nora, please call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Here.
Jaskowitz,
Here.
Parikh,
Here.
Ready,
Yes.
Snyder. Here. Lewin.
Here.
Erickson.
Yes,
We
here.
have Our board planner, Mr. Chadwick, our board engineer, Mr. Holloway, and our board attorney.
Here.
We're going to dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance because we did that at the 7 o'clock meeting. At this point, is there any member of the public that has any business to be brought to this board that is not on this evening's agenda? I do not see any. We have a letter from Chris Murphy requesting an extension, adjournment of Blue Foundry application 2115 from September 29th to December 15th. Without further notice and with all required extensions, will somebody make a motion to that effect?
So moved. That's the second one.
Any discussion?
Well, it's the second request, so.
It's only a sign, I don't know what maybe they have a witness problem or something. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, good. And, someone like to move the minutes, July 16th special, July 23rd special, July 14th special, and regular. Someone move those?
So moved, Snyder.
Second, ready. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. We are now to the agenda, application 2044. Akshaya Patel, are you present? Come on up.
So could you, who's providing testimony?
He's the owner, I'm helping him.
Okay. Are you an expert or?
He's the expert for,
Okay.
but I'm just helping him out.
How are you helping him out?
He has a problem with the language.
Okay, so you'll interpret. Sir, raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to provide before the board is true, self you got. Mr. Interpreter, you swear your right hand. You swear affirm that the testimony you translate is the truth and accurate. All right, thank you. Sir, you're going to testify? You're the engineer. Could you raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony you're about to provide before the board is true, self you got? And you're going to provide engineering testimony? And are you licensed?
Yes.
And licensed in this state and/or other states?
Yes.
Have you ever provided testimony before any other boards in New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell me 5 of them?
How many?
Well, how many, like any other, did you ever provide any testimony before the planning board, zoning board of Parsippany?
Maybe a long time ago, I have been a Jersey City engineer, 30 years retired.
In-house?
In-house.
Okay, and have you ever provided any testimony to, before any boards, other boards?
Yes.
Okay, when was the last time?
Like I said, I retired 5 years ago, but before that, I was court witnesses in
Okay.
Jersey City.
And all your licenses are up to date? You've taken all your courses and classes?
Yes,
And Mr. Chairman, he had 30-some-odd years as a municipal engineer, so.
I apologize. What was your name?
SHYUE and Huang is last name. You want to twist your tongue, it's Xue Zhen Huang. I use Stanley usually, but my license does not say Stanley.
Okay.
Only test for cover book.
Stanley tonight.
Officially or unofficially.
Good, very good.
Stanley is.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant and owner of the property. has been
You may
sworn.
have seats.
The translator has been sworn, as well as the engineer.
All right, so, we have an existing situation. We have a 60 by 97 square,
Almost complies.
it complies?
Almost.
Almost complies, close to so,
Why is he here?
Huh?
Why is he here?
because I guess he put this stuff in without it. So it looks like from from what I see here, you're proposing as part of this legalization of the impervious coverage, you have prepared some documents indicating that there would be a, method to alleviate the drainage,
Yes, the dry well is 8 foot by 8 foot
8 foot by 8 foot,
by 4 foot deep.
by 4 foot deep, okay?
That's a dry well, so collecting all the excessive water.
So you're not gonna have any runoff to speak of, is that correct?
No.
There's not gonna be any water going off the property? It's gonna be contained into this dry well?
Into the dry well. And there is a connection to the roof drain pipe. Eventually that it will go out.
Eventually?
Yeah.
Yes, when it's filled up to high enough, then the
then-
pipe will take the
A relief pipe of some sort?
excess.
What triggered this? Did you just do the improvement recently, or?
Now, what happened is last meeting, he had a raised patio before he purchased. So board says, come up with some plan with the engineer.
Okay.
How you gonna control the water that come into your property? How you gonna
Okay, all right.
drain off?
We're gonna mark this as A1, is that correct?
Yeah.
Applicant one, it means it's your first exhibit.
And you've shown this to the town engineer?
Yeah, once it's approved, I will show it to town engineer.
Have you shown it to the
Not
town
yet,
engineer
no.
yet? And you're supposed to be interpreting, not testifying? So I'm asking the
Okay.
engineer, have you discussed this with the town engineer?
No, not yet.
Okay, has our board engineer seen this?
You haven't seen this?
Shouldn't they have seen the town engineer with the plan first before coming to us?
Yeah, when did you provide this to the board? Within 10 days or just now?
Did you just give this to us now?
Yes, please.
Just to that,
Well, I think you're going to need to, A, give Mr. Holloway an opportunity to review this, B, Mr. Chadwick an opportunity to review this, because I know he's chomping at the bit to review it. And I think you're gonna have to discuss it with the town engineer just for assurances. Now, your property's already, everything is already in place, all you have to do is eventually put this in, is that correct? So we're gonna carry this case to a special meeting on December 15th.
Can I ask some questions?
Oh, sure.
When was the patio put in?
We don't know, before he purchased,
When did he purchase?
2015. 2015.
So when he purchased, the patio was there?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there a water problem on the property? Of a runoff or whatever?
There is a problem because there's existing drain that.
And again, sir, you're the interpreter.
Well, I don't know if he knows.
I discussed with him before, he says there was a drain that going behind the property, all the neighbor water because his property is low.
If he talks, and he just acknowledges that what he's saying is okay.
Yeah, because it's all hearsay. and
Right.
it's meaningless.
So whatever you testify to, he's gonna have to acknowledge that it's true, okay?
When we get done.
If there's a language barrier, how does he?
Was gonna tell him what he said, his own language. Prior to
You
2000.
have to talk to the township engineer. If this is in a floodplain, you can't fill in a floodplain.
So he's saying that all neighbor water was coming to his property and then going to his basement. And water was keep coming back to his property.
Yeah, if I recall, he had put in a sump pump or something, pumped the water out to the back water was coming back in the property, right?
That is the last time.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
last
last
time
thing,
we did.
so then the solution was to come up with a solution for that water to go someplace else.
That time
The
board requested.
yeah, and the solution is this dry well,
Yes.
okay? All right, and this dry well plan has not been submitted to our engineer prior to tonight. We just got it yesterday, and we just got it tonight, correct? Okay.
Didn't we also at the time say something to the effect that you need to go to the town engineer? So we said that already.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the engineer needs to look at this plan for us to be comfortable to approve it that will alleviate the condition that was caused by the sump pump not working. If this alleviates it, we'll probably be move forward, but we have to have the town engineer agree with that. Understood?
And Chaz has to look at that.
Yeah, so the important part is to meet with the township engineer.
Yeah, okay, yeah, well,
What kind of soils we have and then where's the drainage going. But the biggest concern might be just if there was a fill inside the flood zone for the
Yes.
township engineer's letter that has to be resolved.
Okay, so,
excuse me, Mr. Chairman, to that point, the floodplain thing, I don't remember that. Was that,
I'm looking at the township engineer's letter and it
Okay.
says that the property has a history and it's a raised patio in a flood restricted area. So
Okay.
that has to be resolved. with the township
Okay.
engineer.
and this, Mr. Engineer, this plan that you have for the dry well will alleviate those water problems demonstrated in the previous case. Is that your professional opinion?
Yes, this is actually designed by also a engineering company that's dealing with environmental drainage issues. And then I just review it, advise them that they.
And who's that engineering company? Do we know who that is?
It's not my own design, put it this way. I was being asked to evaluate if this thing will be working, and I sort of agree, you can try this as a first attempt. Because number one, this may not be guaranteed for stormwater if it's excessive.
Either one doesn't have a seal.
So it's not going to be 100% retain all the water comes into his backyard.
Thank you.
But understand that originally there was a ditch around the neighbor beyond his property. Over the year, this ditch has been filled for some reason. Therefore, the water has no natural drain, but to sit in the area, ends up in his backyard. Numerous times he has been trying to do different ways, but doesn't work
I would meet
until
with the
now.
township engineer and see what
They
his
say
reason.
that,
Plus
they
also
said-
want to notice that the signed plans, they have to be sealed.
Okay, understand. We will have this original design engineer come up with the normal, regular design drawings and sign and seal. I may endorse it, but that will be the first thing to do. With that design, then I will approach you to see that whether that will be.
I know, you want to go to the township engineer, that he's just not here tonight. The township is a separate engineer, and he's the one that is the one you want to talk to.
This letter also talks about DEP approval and requirements, so that's the major thing.
And this would be subject to DEP, anything the board does is subject to DEP.
If it's there already, I don't know if it's a wise way to go.
Anything else, guys? And lady?
Carrying to December 15th?
We're gonna carry this case to December 15th at 7 o'clock. 7, not 7:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll be able to come back and we can knock this off in 10 or 15 minutes. Okay? All right. Now you are gonna have to give us an extension of time. And if there's anybody here for this case, nobody, okay. So this will be without further notice with whatever extensions required. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved, Snyder.
Second.
Any discussion? All in
I just
favor?
want to make sure that they're aware of what they need to provide by that December 15th meeting.
How about if you check with Nora tomorrow, and she'll give you a list of everything that you need to bring back, okay? And we'll have John or Chaz make up that list
Okay.
before, and then you can be sure you get everything.
You get a checklist of what you have to have done by the 15th.
This way we don't waste any time next time.
Okay.
I believe it will be a sign and seal design drawing approved by the town engineer.
Nora will give you the list.
And
that you
then
need.
we have to submit before the meeting, right?
Yes,
Well before the meeting, not the day
Way
of.
before.
not the day before. now.
And you worked in Jersey City for how long?
30 years.
As an engineer? You're asking a lot of questions that
No.
somebody of your expertise should not be asking. I'm just, with all due respect, but, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Right?
I was trying to be pretty like a deck of cards. Is this for me?
The next application's for you. Remember we talked about
Oh,
what
yes. Yes, thank you.
It's already there.
Today is the 29th.
He's asking a lot of questions.
Okay, let's call case, 2054, Danny Realty.
You should know already.
Should have known to go to the.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Good evening.
Dave Sertatow, returning on behalf of Danny Realty in this application. As a reminder, last time we were here, you were kind enough to reopen the testimony so we can answer some questions, which have been hopefully answered in a letter dated August 26, 2021, from Mr. Verderisi to the board. And I have Mr. Verderisi here tonight to testify to the letter report to address the issues that came up, which were namely to address the difference in the traffic between the convenience store use there today and the proposed Dunkin' use. And then secondly, to address there was an issue raised about another site on Route 10, which you went out and looked at, investigated, and have some things to report back. And we'll also answer any other questions. And again, I'd like to thank this board for the time it continues to give to this application and for letting us use it tonight to further this application. Without any further ado, I will call Mr. Verderisi, who has been introduced this morning.
I'm sorry, what's his expertise? I didn't hear.
I'm sorry, Mr. Verderisi is our traffic engineer
Okay.
in this matter. He submitted a traffic report earlier in this case. This is really a refined review of just the differences in the projected traffic for the Dunkin' and the existing convenience store use, as well as to address some other issues that came up at the end of the last year.
Thank you.
Can you give me your full name and spell it?
Yes, Nicholas Verderisi, Verderese.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you say there's a letter that we received?
Yeah. It's dated August
You
11th.
have that? Anybody have that?
That was the traffic update?
Yes.
Anybody have that? You have it?
It was a report, it was a booklet that went to John.
I went to John, okay.
So you have his review.
John, oh, okay, okay. Gotcha, now I understand.
August 26th.
August 26th, sorry.
Yeah, August 27th.
This is,
I have extra copies if anybody needs one.
it was 2 pages.
Yeah.
Is the exhibit that was done over last meeting, is that still in effect, or I didn't receive a separate plan? It was just an exhibit at the last meeting as far as the blue line, the parking, the traffic circulation?
No changes, still the same. If you'd like, I can put it up or just check.
I'm just gonna say you want
Is there gonna be testimony at this point?
Yes, there is.
Just a very brief.
Very brief. So, and he pulled out the exhibit that was being referenced. Mr. Verderisi, at the end of the last meeting, there was a request made to put together to review the comparison between the convenience store traffic and the projected traffic for the Dunkin'. Have you had a chance to do that?
Yes, I have.
And is that contained in this letter dated August 26, 2021?
Yes, it's a table on the first page.
Okay, if you could you please review your findings with the board?
Yeah, so we did a comparison of essentially a 2,000 square foot convenience store, which is what's there now, being replaced by about 1,500 square foot Dunkin'. And you'll see in that table, in the morning, peak hour, the volumes are generally similar within a handful of trips. In the evening and Saturday peak hours, the Dunkin' has significantly lower traffic, 30 to 40% lower traffic during those peak hours. You're all familiar with Dunkin' Donuts. It's generally a morning, user, and it tails off as you get past about 10, 11 a.m. And then the volumes are lower. Convenience store volumes, peak again in the evening. So there's definitely a benefit in the change in use from the convenience to the Dunkin' in the evening peak hour, which is the heavy hour on that northbound approach right across our property frontage of New Road.
And with respect to, there was a question that came up at the last meeting, or a reference to a site down on Route 10 in Hanover Town, or East Hanover Town. Did you have a chance to review that site?
We did. We went out, that was a standalone Dunkin', had stacking for about 12 vehicles fit on the property there at that site. On the 2 days we were there in August 5th, August 6th, Thursday and Friday, during the morning hours, we were there a couple hours, and it peaked at about 8 vehicles on the Thursday and 11 on the Friday. That's a single drive-through lane, 12, so it's different than our site. You know, as we talked about, we've been talking about, we have a dual order board which improves processing times by 25 to 30%. So we're confident that our site with a 14 vehicle stack, double drive-through, is going to work very well. It really is the most we've done in a Dunkin' Donuts, and we've designed a dozen in the last, 5 years. 14 vehicles with a double order board is pretty much the Cadillac of what we've designed to date.
And with respect to the overall traffic impacts that you see this project having on the intersection and the roadways, that the new road and Route 46 are on the property, just as a final summary as to what your review, if you came to any conclusions on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see much of it. What you're seeing coming in on and off the property and what you've seen historically as the site's been there, as a gas station with the convenience, it's going to be very similar as far as how much traffic you're seeing coming on and off. You may notice it being a little lighter in the evening peak hour, but otherwise it would be pretty similar to what you're seeing there today.
And are you saying that because of the double line, that if you have the same amount of cars, you're saying the conditions will be improved?
If you had the six, so we have a 14 vehicle stack available. The one I was talking about on Route 10, they have 12 on the property. Then if there was any more, they would stack on the road. So it improves. So what happens is they're able to process orders at the order board. Essentially what happens is 25% faster because they're able to take back-to-back orders and not have to wait for vehicles to.
But I'm not worried about the Route 10 side. I wanted to focus on the present site. You're saying that because you're going to have the double line, that it should even improve what is coming out of there as it is now.
There are two issues being examined, if I could just clarify.
Sure.
One is the traffic coming to and from the site.
Right.
And then the second is how the site operates once you get on the site with the
Okay.
queuing. So I think your question about the queuing would, we can handle, it goes to, well, one question had come up was whether it would back out onto the street.
That's my concern.
And I think that, well, I'll let Mr. Federici testify to that.
Yeah, we're very confident. As I said before, this is the best we've designed. 14 vehicle stack, dual drive-through lane. But we've designed plenty that are around 10 in a single drive-through, 2 on the Garden State Parkway. Those haven't had any problems, and they've been operating for a couple of years.
Best designed and it working might not be the same thing all the time. You could design something that is good on paper, but when you get out there, it just doesn't, it gets more traffic, whatever, it doesn't work. But you're confident that this best design will work?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're confident because of your study August 5th and 6th, would you say so?
Well, we've studied, I've studied, 8 or 10 Dunkin' Donuts over the last 10 years.
Right.
Plus this new one that you brought to our attention. So I'm confident in our design.
And August 5th and 6th is really the dog days of summer. So wouldn't you say that this would be lighter than usual traffic compared to October 5th and 6th, provided that's a weekday?
If it's higher, it's not much. I'm confident, again, even if those were 10 and 12 or 13, it's a single drive-through, standalone Dunkin' Donuts. Historically, standalone Dunkin' Donuts generate more traffic than Dunkin's that are shared with gas stations.
So all of your experience and when your Dunkin' Donuts with the dual lanes become a reality, the ones that have historically, there have been no reality experiences where they gum up, break down lanes, right lanes leading up to a driveway when the two lanes are at capacity coming off the board? Have you ever done any after action studies?
I have not, because we haven't actually opened the dual drive-through order board in New Jersey yet. The Dunkin' Donuts that have that are in Massachusetts at this point, and nothing down in this area. But we've been designing
But the
them.
corporation
We just
doesn't share that
haven't built them.
information? I mean, they don't share that empirical information?
Yeah, they do, that's where they
Even though
do
it's
the
Massachusetts.
25% increase in processing times.
Thank you.
So instead of it taking, say, 30 to 40 seconds per vehicle, it's taking 25, 22 to 28 seconds. And they've just gotten better at it. I mean, that COVID brought it to their front door and said, hey, COVID came, a lot of people want to use the drive-through now, what are we going to do to fix that? And what they did was they came up with this dual order board and longer stack and being able to process vehicles quicker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question now. The numbers you have here for in and out on a commercial, you're comparing commercial, convenience store against the Dunkin' Donut. Are the in and out, those number are using both in and out, or can you break that down?
Sure.
How many from New Road?
Yeah, so the new road volumes. So the volumes on New Road, the right turn in volume, so there are 4 movements. 2 inbound, so you can make a right in from northbound New Road, or you can make a right in from eastbound 46.
Right.
The volumes are very similar. The New Road volumes are a couple higher. So it's, say it's 45, 55. So 55% coming in and out of the highway, or in the highway, or reverse. 55% coming in New Road, 45% coming in on the highway. In the exit, it's 80+% exiting out onto 46 with, 10 to 20% exiting on New Road. The volumes are very low exiting New Road. The reason being
And let's clear up with the New Road exiting, all right? Please clear that up. Exiting how onto New Road, if you
they
would
make a
specify?
right turn. So we have, in the existing condition, 3 vehicles exit onto New Road in the morning. 63 exited onto 46. In the evening, 10 vehicles exited onto New Road, 54 onto 46.
So even if they're traveling on New Road, they pull into the facility and they pull out onto 46.
Yes, so what's likely happening are commuters in the morning that are coming up to 46, want to go here, they stop here, do their business, make the right turn and continue on 46.
Gotcha.
You don't have a lot of people that are going across or trying.
Going into Montville.
Yeah, you don't, a site like this, the type of use that's here relies a lot on pass-by. You don't get a lot of people, you're not going to get a lot of people traveling west on 46 that want to deal with trying to get across the highway, get to the site, come back, make a left turn out. So that just is, so they pick another Dunkin' Donuts that's maybe closer to their house or closer to their work or where, wherever they're going. How this is convenient is people are coming north, they're already going to make a right. The volume is heavy, making a right in the morning now. That's the heaviest movement. So they say, hey, I'm going there. I know I'm going to pass that Dunkin' because I make the right there every day. Stop in or whatever, the convenience store and the gas now.
So the right is the heaviest movement?
In the morning.
Is it the worst backup?
The right is the longest backup in the
It
morning.
is, so making a right. It's not
in the morning.
making the left to go
In the
straight.
evening, it's not. They're trying to make a left and go through.
So you are saying the 20% traffic that's making right on the new turn, on New Road, they enter the right lane, which is a right only on 46.
Yeah, so they have to get.
They ultimately
would-
go on
They
46.
would wait to get over a lane, which is what they're doing. You know,
So-
exactly what
But
they're
why
doing
would they-
today. I
why
think
would they
that's
do
why
that?
the volume's so
Yeah.
low.
Why would they do that? That doesn't make sense. Why would they make a right on New Road when they can easily make a right directly onto Route 46? I'm sorry.
That's-
was
that's
that
exactly-
your
that's
question? I mean, that does
exactly
not
right,
make sense.
No, they make a right out of the driveway, then they either try to
Understood.
get over a lane to go across, or they try to get 2 lanes over and then.
I think the question may
To
be-
what, though? I mean, we're all
46.
Parsippany, no, I got what you're saying. They're made, right? What's there? There's a daycare center, there's residential.
Well, you
I'm
can
just
go
not, I'm not
across the
seeing
Bloomfield Avenue
the
and get to
huge
Route 8.
business market demand,
In the evening,
making
you
that
go home.
cross over 46. Oh, well, in the evening, yes, but not in the morning.
In the morning, if you're trying to get to 80 East, you can go straight across the intersection, make a right on Bloomfield Ave, go down the hill, and you get on 80.
It's just that there's so many.
And how many cars can be there from 46 to your exit? I mean, is there enough room for somebody to move over 2 lanes
In
or?
the peak hour, people wait for the vehicles to clear the driveway and then they exit.
So what
So what
are
hap- what you see happening today isn't really gonna change. The volumes.
what are the
similar.
PM numbers?
What was that?
What are the PM numbers as far as where they turn?
The PM numbers, there were 10 existing vehicles versus 54 that turned right on 46. So it was 15% traffic.
But in terms of
Have you-
volume, in the PM, you're reducing though the volume now by 44 trips. Is that
There's
correct?
a reduction because Dunkin' Donuts isn't a PM user like a convenience store.
And the other issue is if a car is gonna go out onto Route 46 East after they go and make a Dunkin' Donuts purchase, just to clarify, would they be going out the Route 46 exit or would they be going out the New Road exit and then making a right again onto Route 46?
Oh, 46. I mean, you come
Okay.
out of the drive-through.
No, but in the evening, you're gonna have more people trying to go west than east.
West of
And
the,
to go west from that site, you gotta cross 4 lanes of traffic,
Yeah,
which doesn't sound
there
very
were
safe.
10 cars that.
Doesn't sound
did
very
that
safe to
in
me.
the
Well,
existing.
even if it's one car, it's still an accident waiting to happen.
but I think that the testimony is that the number of trips, the number of people who would be trying to make that maneuver
Would be less.
would be less.
You only need one.
Even
I
more?
don't know.
It's
But
less than-
it's less in the current conditions. What we're asking here is a change in use. This change in use will actually address that issue by
Why
reducing.
shouldn't we try and fix what's broken?
Well, you have an existing intersection, state highway and a busy road, and a use on the corner, where the driveway is far from the intersection as you can get it. And it's right in, right out. You've essentially designed exactly what you would if you were coming in today. And it's a recent job. If this site hasn't been sitting there for, 40 years, there was a use built 10 years ago there that had a driveway in that location that was approved. So it was designed properly 10 years ago, recently. We're essentially leaving it, we're actually fixing it, we're adding some striping, we're putting some signage up.
The only reason you got approval 10 years ago is because the gas station was already there. Otherwise, you never would have got approval.
Have you assessed the return traffic since COVID, and now a lot of the businesses are taking back their employees in person? Have you assessed what's going on New Road, and Route 46 for that matter, but mainly New Road between 46 and 280? And when did you last assess it and analyze it?
Well, all of our data is adjusted for COVID, so.
No, adjusted, I'm asking you, have you been out there
Have I?
Yeah.
I've been through, yes, I've been through. the
assessing it?
intersections
When was the last?
since, 4 months ago or 3 months ago.
3 months ago. So okay, so let me just, not since Labor Day, correct? Or post,
No.
the Tuesday after Labor Day, correct?
No, but
Okay.
we have traffic data in 2019 and 2020 out
Mm-hmm.
in this area, all pre-COVID, when the volumes were essentially, still even higher than what it is today.
Mhm.
So what you used to see in 2019 and 2020 is probably, at this point, 5 to 10% still higher than what you're seeing now, 2%.
And is your professional opinion that the double drive-through on this property will not adversely impact the ingress and egress to the adjacent property in the back that hosts a number of small businesses?
Correct, yes.
In terms of the number of queuing spots in this has got 14 queuing spots. relative to the Dunkin' Donuts, how does this relate to in terms of the number of spaces in the queue and your experience in those matters?
Yeah, there's 40 to 50% more here. As I mentioned, this is our Cadillac design. This is the best one we've done yet.
If you recall, do you remember how many you have on the Garden State Parkway?
Yeah, those are probably 7 or 8 vehicles.
And on Route 17?
Yeah, that's 6 to 8, I think, in there. Yeah.
Do they all have gas stations?
Those all 3 have gas stations, yes.
What all three?
The 3 that I just mentioned.
Parkway and Ridgewood on Route 17.
Just to clarify, there's 2 sites in Woodbridge, one in the northbound, one in the southbound lanes of the Garden State Parkway. There's rest areas that have Dunkin' Donuts and a Shell gas station on the north and southbound side. That's what he's testifying to, is the traffic.
Oh, yeah, but those properties are much larger.
No,
No,
they're small. It's small.
Yeah.
Yes. Tight sites.
They're much smaller.
Yes.
But you can't compare the Parkway traffic flow to and from those sites and this site.
Yeah, the Parkway volumes are a lot higher than this.
That's not what I said. You've got traffic going south and north and just slipping off and coming back in. That's not what the conditions are here.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the amount of volume those sites are driving is higher than what this one is. And this is a better design than those.
Yeah, but isn't there, John, to your point, is there a more intense metering of traffic on the Garden State Parkway as opposed to what potentially could be happening on this site?
I just think we're comparing apples to oranges. I mean, it's a north-south highway. You don't cross over, you don't change lanes on the site. There's none of that traffic movement that we've spent a couple meetings discussing. Whether people are gonna try to make a left out of this site on the road or not.
The question is the adequacy of the queuing. We were addressing the adequacy of the queuing.
I know.
Okay, that was with respect to that.
Yeah, but we also have to consider what happens after they buy their coffee. I mean, it's not just the ingress, it's the egress.
And I think and I'll have Mr. Verderisi testify to it, but there's 2 issues we're addressing here, because there's questions about the adequacy of the queuing, and then 2, the interplay between the site and the adjacent roadways. And I think that we're trying to address both of those, but Mr. Verderisi, if you could just...
Let's take the adequacy of queuing to its real meaning, safety.
Mhm.
And that's what we've been talking about, whether or not the double lanes will get all the peak demand traffic off the road and not have people stopping on New Road. And your testimony is it will. I commented on the box. Does the box proposal interfere with some of the free movement from New Road into the lanes?
Yeah, the box is not to stop someone that's coming in from New Road. The signs that we show in the box are pointing to the people that are on the site coming towards the driveway. So we're trying to stop those people from blocking someone from getting onto the property. So if someone was, say someone was at the drive-through and they were the 15th car, say, they would be sitting in the box if they came from Route 46 driving.
And the signage will say, you can't sit in the box.
Yes.
So if I'm coming off a new road, what do I do?
But the sign only points to the people coming from the other direction. If you're coming from New Road, you just sit there in the right lane and wait to make the right lane on the site. So you come onto the property and wait to make a right.
So this isn't a box.
Well, no,
It's only
It's a box.
It's a suggestion, that's all it is. It's a suggestion.
Something that we felt went over and above what we designed already. We feel that 14 is enough, and it's not going to be 15 and 16 and 17. But hearing some of the concerns from the board, we wanted to add a little extra. So we added the do not block the box. If they say the 15th car is blocking and the next guy wants to go to the gas, well, he comes in off a new road. If the person obeys the box, he'll be able to just drive through the box and get to the gas station. That's the goal of a do not block the box.
So I just make sure. coming off a new road, your testimony is that your accommodations will alleviate any backing up along New Road, correct?
Correct.
Over current use, number one. Number two, the other concern, if I'm coming in off of 46 and I want to go into the Dunkin' Donuts, that I have to get in line for the people that were coming off a new road to get in the queue. So I can't block them, okay? That's where the box is coming in. That's
Yes.
only for people off of Route 46, is that correct?
Exactly.
Going
Yes.
eastbound, okay?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that would alleviate that merge and the feedback, okay? All right? The other thing from your testimony right now is the current level of egress and entrance and utilization will be increased significantly with the Dunkin' Donuts if the business is successful, but it will not, okay, increase any backup because of the design of the drive-through as far as the service road on New Road is. Is that correct?
Well, I didn't say there was going to be an increase because of the Dunkin' Donuts. The Dunkin' Donuts and a convenience store
Okay.
generate similar traffic in the morning.
Okay, all right, fine.
It's in the evening and Saturday
Got
that the Dunkin' generates less, so
Okay.
there's a benefit in those.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through will add more traffic to the area as opposed to what traffic is already being drawn in its current state. You're saying no.
No,
No, I know there's similar customers once the drive-through is there, but I'm
Very
saying
similar.
now versus what potentially will be with the drive-through and the Dunkin' Donuts added to the business plan, there's not going to be an increase in customer
During peak
and customer base.
hours, you're getting the same type of customer.
Okay.
You're getting
I understand the profile of the demographic of the customer, they're going to be, but the volume of the customers, the volume, the amount of, will likely increase.
Similar. A 2,000 square foot, remember the convenience store is 2,000 square feet. The Dunkin' Donuts is 1,400 square feet. It generates less traffic, or similar traffic to an operating convenience store.
So I don't remember, I mean, are the donuts gonna be made there or delivered?
Delivered. Yeah, they don't make donuts on site.
If I may, Mr. Bergerisi, is it fair to say that the cars today that are coming on the site that would park in parking spaces would just be rerouted to the drive-through window, since the traffic volume, especially in the AM, which is what I think the biggest issue is, are similar traffic, one going in, four going out on the entire site? That's not just New Road, it's the entire site. But is it safe to say that based upon your statistics, that the number of cars would be the same, but today those cars are now going to find parking spaces as opposed to now some being directed to a drive-through window?
Correct.
Okay.
Have you, does the right lane from New Road, does it have a free right turn on 46 or there is a signal? Do you know?
There's a signal.
Okay, so the cars can back up and block your entrance on a new road?
Yeah, they can, yes.
And what's the impact of that if the cars are blocking the new, your entry on the new road?
Yeah, they're, in the morning, they're blocking the entry to that driveway now during peak hours.
So it is happening,
Until
right?
the signal turns green and then you're able to make the right turn.
Did you ever give any concern
That's
just
a
closing that
long thing.
entrance and exit off on New Road? And it would alleviate a lot of these issues.
Yeah, it isn't gonna make any difference as far as, the traffic coming to the site, because if you're coming on
Well, it
New
would be
Road.
exiting the site, because all the traffic would have to exit on Route 46 and go down, use the jug handle down in Montville if they wanted to come back on 46 West.
Operationally, yes. As far as the DOT permitting of the site, we cannot close the driveway or it would violate the permit,
What permit?
the DOT permit
For?
for the site.
Okay.
And you couldn't get another one because the trips are too high to have it all go out onto the highway.
You know, when I think in terms of an application like this, I think of what's the public good, okay? Are we providing something to the public that they don't currently have? Are we making it easier for them to access something, all right? Would you have any idea of how many Dunkin' Donuts there are, say, in a 3 or 4 mile radius of the property?
Yes.
And what would that number be?
We researched existing Dunkin', so within 4 miles,
Okay,
there were 11. Only one had a drive-through.
okay. And, are we hindering people the ability to get coffee, if we didn't have this drive-through? Are we hindering people's ability to get coffee?
Hindering their ability?
Yeah, I mean, and by not having this here, is this a big, impediment to me going and getting a cup of coffee in the morning?
If you're not comfortable getting out of your car and going inside the store.
Okay, this is not Fairbanks, Alaska. It's not 30 below in the wintertime, okay?
There's a
All right.
pandemic.
We've become a very lackadaisical and a very lazy society. And I'm trying to imagine, and I understand the traffic pattern of that road, and I'll give you just a little history. My uncle used to live in Livingston and work in Bergen County. And how did he get to Bergen County from Livingston? He went west on 280, went across New Road to Old Bloomfield Avenue and picked up 80 East. Crazy road, okay? So I'm thinking, well, maybe there are people that are at that, situation that they need to do that. So I'm thinking, well, is there not any Dunkin' Donuts on their way to get to 280? I mean, to get to 80? Because if I'm going on New Road and I'm gonna make a left turn onto 46, I sure as hell am not gonna stop in this Dunkin' Donuts. I'm gonna go left and go up to the Dunkin' Donuts that's by ShopRite, okay? If I'm going eastbound on 46,
Paul Miller. By Paul Miller.
that's west of this property.
But it's still, there's a Dunkin' Donuts there.
There's a bicycle store.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul Miller, where Paul Miller.
I just, it's a location and in hindsight, the state should have taken this location when they widened New Road and put a nice little jug handle in there, or a little exit onto 46 East, just like they should have done up at Cherry Hill Road. They chose not to. You guys came a few years ago, however many years ago, and you wanted to resurrect the gas station, and we agreed to resurrect the gas station. We gave you a nice little convenience store. And I'll tell you, I'm very happy with what you got. And that's my short answer. Any other questions by the board?
You don't currently serve Dunkin' Donuts right now in this convenience store, right?
It is not.
No.
No, there's no
Okay,
Dunkin'
thank you.
franchise.
And just for clarification on that Route 46, I'm not so sure how signaled it is. I don't believe there's a no turn on red there. I don't think it's only a right on green. So I wanted to clarify that for Mr.
What are you saying on the?
Coming from New Road, making
going
a right
north on-
onto Route 46.
You're going to go on 46 eastbound from
Correct.
New Road?
Correct.
I don't think there's
There's no turn on
there's no
red.
no-turn, but there's so much traffic that I think the roads are just
But
backed
people
up.
do make a right.
There's
and-
no right turn lane there, I don't think.
Yes, there is.
There is a right turn lane?
Yes, there
Okay,
is.
well then,
Is it dedicated or is it more?
It's a dedicated right-hand lane, and there's no, like, I mean, I don't know if there's no, like, only right on green. However, traffic has to be careful about the
you
delayed.
probably don't want to pull out onto 46 in the middle of traffic.
Sure, well, obviously,
Even
yes.
if you can make a right on red, unless it's like 2 in the morning.
Chairman, I appreciate the point you made, but I think part of it backed up their case in the sense of, you said if you're going on New Road, and you're gonna eventually have to make a left onto 46, you're not going into that Dunkin' Donuts to get your coffee. So that means the issue of people coming out of it and trying to cross
Well,
over the
you're-
lanes.
You're gonna
How do you
probably, you
know
might
that?
have a
There
few
will be
that
people
don't-
that will
people
try to do that, do the
I'm talking
kamikaze
about
pullout.
the everyday commuter or the resident is not gonna do it. But there's a lot of people that come off 280, they're maybe going to the hotels because they're staying in Parsippany, and they see a Dunkin' Donuts on the right, oh, let me grab coffee before I go to the hotel.
Question.
No, I agree with you. The normal, you're not gonna do it, I'm not gonna
Right.
do it. Most of these people are not gonna make it work. I'll never go into this place. I have
Question.
absolutely no reason to ever go into this.
But
to
for
this
some-
You wouldn't go
Dunkin'
there in the morning and get caught. Question.
I won't.
Your testimony is that can you not have a no right turn coming out of your property onto New Road?
That doesn't work. You don't want to.
But then,
I'm just asking a question.
Then you can't,
Then you're
you
gumming
want
up
to know
the
left turn
actual
too,
property.
because you
No,
don't
no,
like
no.
the left turn.
Well, you,
Right
obviously,
turn
He's
only.
trying to force
What
the
you want.
traffic onto 46.
yeah.
What you want coming out of that property onto New Road is right turn only.
That's right.
No, I'm saying if you have, gentlemen, can you limit or restrict or disallow any egress from your property onto New Road?
No.
You cannot do that.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah, we would violate our permit.
Okay, you're violating your permit. That's what I thought I heard you say. Okay, so you can't do that,
Yes.
right? Okay, so then, the only thing that stops somebody from coming out of your property and trying to turn left is good judgment and traffic and is stupidity if they try, but they could try to do that.
It could. I mean,
Yeah,
we could,
okay.
if the board felt that that was a concern, we could build an island in the driveway to help channelize that movement.
An island in the driveway that would force them to turn right?
Yeah,
Only?
But looked like a triangular island
Yeah.
that would channelize them to the right, yes. We can do that.
But you couldn't have a no left turn sign out of there.
We have a no left turn sign now, but we could add the
Well,
island
it's-
for
Let me-
extra
It's not the left turn as much as it's people who
I
want to go
know, I
left of
understand, Bernie, but
46
I'm
and
saying
have to
that-
go across 5 lanes to do it.
Yeah, so they're not gonna do that. Frankly, I'm not overly concerned about that. I mean, there's still gonna be some stupid people, even with a no left turn sign and an island, that are gonna try and do it, okay? We can't control that, okay? We have a site right now that, has a use in it, and they're looking to have a different use. The testimony is that the traffic impact for that intersection, which we're all very concerned about, safety, is gonna be, de minimis, if not improved, okay? That's the professional testimony, okay? With the Dunkin' Donuts versus over the current convenience store. Okay. All right, Chris.
Now, with your DOT, you could always go to DOT and try to get that permit amended.
Yeah, I
But they don't
can't,
want-
because there's a limit on how much traffic you're allowed onto Route 46, and this would violate that limit.
But you're only saying there's only 10 cars are going out. 10 cars are gonna, did you do the calculations, or you just,
We're right up against the number.
but you've looked at these calculations?
Yes, yes, I did them before the meeting.
But that's current. That's the same thing now, right?
Yes, yeah.
I'm a little confused now.
Your questions answered, Mr. Wallace?
Yeah.
Any other questions by the board?
I've got a couple of questions, I
Go right
think.
ahead.
I'm having a little confusion in my head, trying to see, you've got cars coming off of New Road, and you've got cars coming off of Route 46. What's keeping them from colliding when they're on the site?
The gas canopies. So, I'll go to this exhibit, I don't know if this one.
I mean, don't the people coming off of Route 46 have to go into the same lane?
Eventually, they come in, they'll come down, they'll come across, that's why we put that.
Look at all the
that
crazy
little
shots
stripe area.
And what does that do?
It helps accentuate that people should stop.
And coming off of the right lane of New Road onto your property, is enough for somebody to make the right turn into the lane without sticking out?
Yes, yes, there's room for a vehicle to sit there and wait.
And I guess, again, so if you're coming off of New Road and you're stuck on that egress or ingress, what's the queue from there to where, I mean, where are you in the queue? Are you like
14
number
cars.
10 or?
You'd be, maybe 16, probably, number 16.
So-
If they all were going that way. If some were coming from 46, then.
Well, again, you got a double lane. So,
Up to,
so is the person coming off a new road gonna be able to get into the westbound lane while there's a car from 46 going into the eastbound lane? Not eastbound, is on the west side, I'm sorry.
yeah,
East
so they're
side.
going west to turn in. Yeah, so there would be 2 car lengths here between the drive-through and the road. So it would be 14, 15, 16. One of the greatest
Now-
Dunkin' Donuts ever.
The egress onto New Road, can it be moved or can it never, it can't even be moved because of the highway permit?
If we moved it,
To where, I'm just wondering if
it
you
would
move,
only move, it has to be 24 feet from the neighbor, so it would only be able to move a short distance. If we
I
did.
thought if you moved it closer to 46, there'd be less opportunity for people to cross lanes and make a left turn.
Yeah, if they're still gonna
Just make it
try to
more
do it, I
dangerous.
prefer it to be as further from the.
So you think it's a
Because
safety,
they're still gonna
so you
try.
think at that point it becomes a safety issue?
They're gonna try. I heard a couple board members say if someone wants to make a left, I mean, especially in off-peak hours, like, 8 o'clock at night, you can come out of there and get over those lanes. No problem.
But if you put that island in, that will deter that somewhat.
It will help.
Might not deter going across, but it will deter the left, I think.
I'm done.
Any other questions by the board? Any members of the public have any questions of these witnesses on the testimony given? I hear none and see none. Do you have any other witnesses?
We do not have any other witnesses. The purpose tonight was to address the issues that came up at the end of the last testimony. We have Mr. McDonough who could testify on some of the issues that were raised tonight about some of the planning issues and the need for this use in the area. I'd be happy to bring them back on. But
It's your call whether you want to bring them on or not.
if I could, then I'll bring on Mr. McDonough. So again, this board has spent a lot of time, but I do think it was a question that was asked that I would like to have at least to some degree addressed as to the need for this type of a use. And just to remind the board, this is a use that's been here for less than 10 years. My client's coming back into it because as he progresses, this is the type of use that he needs to have on the site in order to continue a successful business there. Mr. McDonough? You've testified this matter before?
Yes, I have.
And you were previously sworn?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Mr. McDonough, were you here listening to Mr. Varice's testimony?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and there was discussion about the need for this use, and the drive-through versus the convenience store that you would park and walk in. Can you just give the board the benefit of your experience and your knowledge on this application and the use and the need for this type of a change?
Sure thing, and again, just reminding the board, we're here in the B2 zone district, it's your highway business district where the use is permitted as a conditional use. And we'll come back to the reason why we're here, the conditional use standards that the applicant is looking for. The applicant complies with most of the requirements for a fast food restaurant. I think there's 11 or so, and the 2 major ones that the applicant is asking the board to move on is that the lot area is too small. It's about, I think, 75% of what would be required here. In fact, let me give you the actual number. 0.74 acres versus 1 acre. Bearing in mind that the effective land area is there by virtue of the fact that we do have open space or undeveloped land around us. So the lot is too small, but the building is too small also. In other words, the ordinance says if the building were 2,500 square feet, the drive-through would be okay. The applicant has a building here that's 1,475 square feet with no seats. Remember, this is a walk-in, walk-out food service. So people are going to come to the site, get their coffee one way or the other and go. They're not going to stay. The drive-through becomes an amenity. And it certainly does have a public benefit for people who are mobility challenged. And that doesn't necessarily mean the elderly or handicapped persons. This could be a mom with the baby in the back seat who just doesn't want to get out of the car, but still wants coffee. So it does provide some public benefits as an amenity for people who don't necessarily want to or need to get out of their car. Weather protection on icy days, snowy days, rainy days. You have a nice suit on. All of those things, again, becomes a way to offset and benefit the public. It's just another means of delivering coffee to people who could be on the site itself. So I think the key point here for the board to consider, we all know that's a tight intersection over there on New Road and Route 46, but if the building were bigger and if the lot were a little bit bigger as well, the conditional use standard would be met here for that drive-through. So notwithstanding the questions, I think they were all good ones. I think the degree of departure here is not substantial from what could be if some of those analytics were hit here.
Thank you.
Any questions of Mr. McDonough?
I don't think so.
Any members of the public have any questions of Mr. McDonough? I hear none and see none.
So, Mr. McDonough, within your expertise and within your ordinance, you say it's a de minimis request, but versus the current use, okay? And that's a consideration here. In your professional opinion, the current use would be beneficial, detrimental, or equal to what it is now?
Well, again, based on the foundation of the witnesses before me, I think the testimony is pretty clear that this will be betterment from a traffic standpoint, which I think is a real key issue here. Again, it becomes an amenity that has certainly gained currency. Even after COVID goes away, behaviors aren't going to necessarily change. It has become a popular way of shopping. People
Thank you.
necessarily want to go and see.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other witnesses?
No, I don't, sir.
Do you want to sum it all, or?
Yeah, I would. As I had said earlier, this is an application that comes back because my client has had experience at the site and he's looking to make sure that the site stays in line with modern needs. We presented you testimony here about the use and how it works, and there's been a couple of issues that have stuck that we addressed here tonight, which is one, the traffic issue. The intersection does have volume, but this use will actually, in the morning, not really change it at all. 1 car in, 4 cars out. And that, by the way, for those statistics, are for the site as a whole, not just the 1 car in isn't going to be coming from New Road necessarily, could be coming in from Route 46, and the 4 cars going out aren't all going out onto New Road. They could be going out onto Route 46 as well. And in fact, you heard Mr. Verderisi say a number of the cars will be leaving the site on Route 46. So in terms of the impact in the morning, it will be negligible. But when you look at the afternoon and on Saturdays, the numbers come down substantially. So when I hear this board talk about concerns about traffic at this intersection, it's a busy intersection, there's no doubt about it. The fact is that this application is addressing to some degree that concern, because we're now going to be putting in a use which is more commensurate with current uses and current needs, but it's also going to be, if anything, helping the traffic issues. Now, there was a lot of discussion about, well, what happens about the imaginable horribles of the problem is that it's a very successful business and we're backup. Well, there was testimony and based upon experience, this is actually an overbuild in terms of the drive-through. The fact is that if you look at some busier sites, busy sites, busy locations on highways, Mr. Verderisi testified, some of those cases they have 7 and 9 queuing spots. Well, here we have 14. Not only do we have more queuing spots, but we have them with double boards. So we're going to be moving it through faster. This design was not meant to barely meet the minimum. This is an overbuild in a lot of ways, and a capacity that's there to handle the concerns this board has expressed. There are 14 spots there, not because the belief is that every day there's going to be 14 cars in those queuing lanes. The fact is that if we have a good day and the traffic is really heavy, that those 14 spots will be able to absorb the customers coming in and doing it. Now, during the course, there was concern though, what happens if it gets to New York? So we put in, during the course of the hearing, the grid pattern. Why? so that that way we don't interfere with the flow of traffic on and off the site. As cars are trying to leave to get out onto the road, they can back up, cars can get in and out of gas pumps, but that is a traffic mechanism, again, to address the imaginable horrible, and we have more than 14 cars in the queue, which we don't think we're gonna get to. We can still handle it with this queue. Now, the other concern that was raised is, well, what happens if you're waiting at the box and you can't come in the queue? Take the site plan here that was being looked at. What's happened here is the traffic can come in off of New Road, and they can circle around and come in and wait to come across here as well. They don't have to sit out on New Road here. The cars can come in on the site and circulate around. So even if we hit 14, there's a way to come on the site, still wait and get into line here, and still not disturb the traffic out on New Road. But again, to come back to the point, 14 spaces is more than adequate. Mr. Bergerese testified several times to the fact that this is the largest queue, you're getting all the bells and whistles on this one. And for good reason, it's a bad intersection. We understood that coming in here, and we did everything we could to address just what this board is talking about, which is your concern is what happens if traffic backs up. We have a plan. We have a 14-car queue, over capacity, and again, back to the statistics you heard tonight. If we do nothing, the traffic will remain, if the traffic that's there today is going to remain. If we do something, what the testimony here tonight has been, it'll get better. It's not going to get worse. If somebody wants to make a left-hand turn, we'll make it as a condition of approval, putting in the pork chop. If we put in a pork chop, we'll lessen the possibility of people making the left-hand turn. I don't know how everybody thinks to get but if somebody wants to try it, they can do it. But if we put in the pork chop, it certainly makes it that much more difficult. So we're going to be lessening, I think, some of the traffic concerns of this board. And we're going to be addressing those without having any negative detrimental impacts on the surrounding area. But again, giving a use to this site, which is needed, which will be commensurate with the way and direction society is going today. We all know that, Mr. McDonough testified to that. It's, yes, COVID is an event we're in right now. But behaviors are changing. People are doing things differently. And so as people change, we need to change with it. So otherwise, we don't have uses that are sites that are now all of a sudden going into obscurity. That's why you have these ordinances. That's why you have you have this as a conditional use in the areas. We don't need it in certain conditions, but we've addressed those. We have a smaller building, small site. We have a smaller building. We have enough there to meet this. And I say to this board that given that this use has already been approved for the district as a conditional use, but the use itself is not contrary to what the area has. We can address all of the things that the ordinance has as conditions in order to satisfy it on this site so that you can approve this application tonight. And I think feel good about the fact you're going to be helping to better a site and actually start addressing some of the traffic conditions that are out there. The site is there and will continue to be. And this will hopefully make it a better one for its community. And again, all of the hearings we've had, this board has been terrific. I thank you for all of your good questions, your input, your thoughts, your considerations. On behalf of my client as well, we do appreciate your time and being here tonight. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into conference.
Is there any members of the public here this evening that are here for this case? Because I did not ask that there was any objectors or...
That's why I moved this.
Order. Okay, so we will dispense with that. I'm sorry, Mr. Berkowitz, what did you say?
I move that we go into conference.
Okay, is there a second to that?
Jaskowitz.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mr. Berkowitz, you gonna start off?
No.
You were the one to make the motion.
Chicken.
I'll make it easy, I'll start off. This application is going to negatively impact the very little traffic safety that is out there on New Road and Route 46. This is extremely intense. The application will basically turn the right lane on northbound New Road into an extension of their queuing lanes. And then subsequently, in my opinion, back up and impact the ingress egress of the adjacent lot. And again, we have area Dunkin' Donuts all very nearby this site. So the added convenience of somebody being able to get a Dunkin', I don't think is impeded, based on what we already have out there. Anybody who regularly patronizes and travels in and around the East Hanover site, outside of the dog days of summer where everybody's on vacation, I'm sure pays witness to that coffee conga line that boils over into Route 10 by the dry cleaners, and that would be, I believe, 325 Route 10 East. And in addition to that, we even have the lesson learned from the Starbucks application, even though it's not Dunkin' Donuts, but the Starbucks application on Route 10, whereby that goes into, that line goes and leads into Route 10, the breakdown in lane of Route 10. And while the applicant made the clear point that the 14-car queuing system with 2 lanes is designed to prevent that, we can't get this wrong, because we don't have that boil over going into a highway system. That potential boil over, or the additional traffic, will in essence gum up New Road. So we don't have that highway buffer where people can just pull in the breakdown lane and it doesn't impact the already existing traffic on the 2 to 3 lanes on Route 10 on the eastbound side. And then on top of that, just the traffic on the site itself is very intense. You got the coffee line trying to, because based on the applicant's just most recent point in the closing arguments, he's like, okay, well, even if the traffic doesn't boil over onto northbound New Road, it'll wind its way around on the proper property itself. Well, that's all navigating around the gas queue. I don't know, I just think it's an intensification, the intensification of this property is too much for this area, but more importantly, the traffic safety is something that we all should be concerned about here on the board. And a percentage of the drivers and patrons, especially those unfamiliar to this area, whether they're on business, visiting friends, I don't know, on competitions, that are being held at, local hotels, they unfortunately will make those kamikaze moves to try to pull in that lot because they're unfamiliar as to where another, perhaps Dunkin' Donuts is. So I'm going to be voting against it.
Volunteer to go next?
I'll go next. I'm going to be voting for it. I think if it was a new application, it'd probably be a difference, but this is what I think. You presented a strong case. I believe your traffic witness. I could see it, all right, maybe it doesn't improve that much, but I don't think it gets that much worse. I think part of the backup on New Road that in theory could get worse is self-correcting. If there's too many people in a queue or the guy's going to work, after a while, he's gonna pull out and go to the next place. Over time, you're gonna realize, I can't go there now, I'm going somewhere else. So I think that's kind of self-corrective. It's a terrible intersection, that whole area, but I wonder how many accidents really occur there. I know the traffic could be bad at times, I just don't know how dangerous it is and how many accidents really actually happen there. I think the island will help it. If the pork chop is the island, I think that's helpful. I also don't know that it's our responsibility to constantly, for lack of a better phrase, dumb something down that everybody, or there are people that are just don't pay attention or don't know or don't whatever. There are rules. You're supposed to drive the way you're supposed to. You're supposed to follow the signs. Some people are not going to do it no matter what you do. And I'm not sure it's our responsibility to bring it down to the lowest common denominator for the guy who's just not going to listen to no matter what you do. I think it's a good use. I think it's a good product. I think the answer to it's not just an impaired person, it's the mom who has a kid in the back seat who wants a coffee. That's made sense to me, so I'm going to be voting for it.
Who's next?
Next to me, I agree with my neighbor here. This is a positive to the current conditions, and this with the traffic professional testimony and the planners' comments. And only my request is to make an island and no left onto New Road. That kind of sign, if it is there, I am voting for this.
Yeah, I looked at the current use versus the proposed use of the testimony here. Our major concern, traffic, don't have to talk about that. Traffic people say, don't worry about it, it's actually gonna improve somewhat, all right? That's professional testimony. And as far as the use goes, Mr. McDonough is stating the current use versus the proposed use be beneficial. I'll be voting in favor of it.
Okay.
Who's
So,
next?
my concern is the same, is the traffic. Like you say, traffic people say if it's safe and if it's not going to create a congestion, our town will have no traffic at all. Okay, so, we have to think about, we do have to think about, what's going on here. One of my concern is even internal circulation, okay? I know the attorney said that if there are 14 cars lined up, and if somebody tries to come in, people will find their way and go around. It looks good on a piece of paper, on this drawing. But if I'm driving in and if the lanes are backed up, how do I even know that I have to go around, come back by the gas station and come in? There are too many activities going on, remember. There is a gas station here that, we didn't talk about, but there is a gas station, people go in and out just for the gas station, not only the Dunkin' Donut or anything else. There is also a parking spaces over there. People may back up from the parking, and when they back up, it will be straight in these lines. They may not be able to back up, okay? And if 80% of the traffic goes out on 46, and that is not a just easy in on 46, they might have to wait too. So, coming in, if we see 55% from 46 and 45% from New Road, or around maybe 55% from New Road and 45 from 46, but 80% of the traffic is going on 46. So there can be a backup in that direction, okay? And so internal traffic for me is very confusing. Outside, it can create, backup, and it may make it difficult for the shopping center in the south for people to come out because there will be backup. I'm concerned about the safety of the traffic, of the people, the confusion that it creates with so many patterns internally, and I'll be voting no for this.
Berkowitz, have you gone?
I've really been on the fence, but I'm tending to agree with the board members to my left about the concerns on this property. My biggest concern is I think we're going to be creating an attractive nuisance. And while there's problems with that property now, with traffic and ingress and egress, I just think we're going to be making it worse. And I'm not sitting on the board to make things worse in Parsippany, so I will be voting against.
Thank you, Mr. Berkowitz. You heard me say before, the fact that this use is going to reduce the amount of traffic to the site, it's not going to reduce the amount of traffic on New Road and 46. And the potential for, I've been very conscious of drive-throughs, and not only Dunkin' Donuts, but as I'm driving around, I look at Wendy's, and I look at KFC's, and I look at McDonald's, and all the good ones have enough land. They have enough land so that they can put 35 cars if they had to. Not necessarily.
Starbucks.
What's that?
The Starbucks on Baldwin Road.
Not Starbucks,
Starbucks.
the one you approved.
The one, yeah, I mean, there's adequate, and that's one that we approved, and we did a lot of soul searching on that, right, Ms. Schneider?
Yeah, you approved.
Okay,
Yeah.
and, you didn't
And we put
approve?
an island there, remember? That island.
And, That's what I worry about. That's what I worry about. And there's been a couple of applications over the years that I have voted for and regretted voting for and saying, boy, if I had to retrieve that vote, I would never have done it. And unfortunately, I'm gonna go with my, compadres over here on the left side and vote no. Motion to come out of conference?
So move, Snyder.
Second, Burkle.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? From the left, do I have a volunteer to frame a resolution of denial?
All right, on application 20:54, Danny Realty, 25 Route 46, block 770, lot 1 in the B2 zone. In regards to the request for C and D variance for gas station and drive-through restaurant, I move that we authorize the attorney to draft a resolution denying the
Second, Snyder.
So a vote for yes would be for denial.
Yes, be very cautious in the way you vote. If you're voting for the motion, you're voting for denial. If you're voting for the motion, you're voting for denial, okay? Any further discussion? Nora, call the roll.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Jaskowitz,
No.
Parikh,
Yes.
Ready,
No.
Snyder,
Yes.
Willand,
No.
Hurricane.
Yes. Result is the application is denied.
Thank you again, board, members of the board, Ms. Jolie, for your time on this application as well, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone said
Thanks. This is for 10, right?
Yeah. I think it should be in the papers. There's nobody here.
Somebody call Frank Cahill and tell him we denied one, so that's the way
Does he have control of something right now?
Somebody call Frank Cahill.
What do you think they're gonna feel?
Mr. O'Neill, are you ready?
You want me to do it? Chairman, you want me to do it?
What?
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you can. Can you contact Frank Cahill? Yeah, contact. This is a biggie.
Like I said, I think it's a,
Mr. O'Neill.
good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Here again on the Caswalla application, there were a number of comments made to us at the last hearing, and we have incorporated every single one of them. To discuss that is, first, Mr. Miola, if I may get right to him.
And he's been qualified before?
Yes, these are all the witnesses who testified previously.
And he hasn't lost his license or anything? He's still current?
Well, we'll ask him when he comes up.
He needs an assistant to carry his
Mr. Miola, I hope we have everything you have in your eyes, right?
Mr. Miola, did I get you a client before or what?
No.
No? Oh,
They yelled at me, you're mad.
they're mad at you?
No, they're mad at you guys.
Of course not.
At us? We have no control over it. Didn't she hear
I know.
when I told her to call the mayor?
I tried to explain it to them.
That's all right, we have thick skins up here.
Plus, they keep talking to the neighbors, too. They've got two neighbors. You know that.
They didn't know the neighbors were objective?
No, I didn't think so.
All right, I'm sorry.
You mean the people tonight?
Yeah.
They had no idea they
So I know you meant
More,
well,
yeah.
but.
Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Miola, your license is still in order, correct?
Yes, they are.
You've mounted up a colorized version of the plans that you previously submitted,
Yes.
which means I now have to figure out where we are in the exhibits.
You want to date it today, just date with?
I'll date it as, A10 for the,
A10 we're up to?
I don't know where we are in exhibits, so I'm jumping ahead.
Okay.
So A10 for this evening, if you could just refer to the, plans you have mounted up and walk us through the changes?
Yes. I don't know if you want to mark one of these in, because there is one small change between the plans that everybody has, what's up here. And then we added the two adjoining buildings on that Mr. Chadwick wanted to show.
Well, when you get to, is that on A10 that I just went?
It's on a different page.
A10.
And I have 6 extra
That's
copies.
the other one.
More than 6
I
people.
guess that's my cue. There's 7 people on the board.
Sure.
And we're off to a roaring start.
So,
Go ahead.
okay,
8:10.
Share.
He can,
I guess I don't have a choice.
you could look at this, just give it back to me.
You don't have this?
Oh, yeah. We can share, yeah. You keep one.
A2. A2 shows the existing site as it exists today. And as I just mentioned, if you notice on the right side and left side, we have the 2 adjoining buildings now shown. So you can see where they are in relation to this project. And then the same thing is shown on the right-hand drawing, which says proposed conditions. Listening to everybody's concerns, the client has taken the project from 5 units down to 3 units. It also reduces parking, which allows for more additional landscaping in the front. So we got a one-way driveway configuration where you come in on the east side and you exit on the west side of the site. We have a handicap spot, we have a dumpster area, and we have adequate parking to comply with the regulations. We got 1 car in front of each driveway plus 1 in the driveway, gives us 6. And then we got 7, 8, 9. So we got, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just using my mathematical calculator.
Okay, so we got adequate parking. We've provided some additional landscaping in the front because we got larger landscape islands. That is shown with the little schedule underneath it. The detention system is basically in the same area it was before. I'm going to flip to sheet 3 because you can see it better. Okay, if we look at sheet 3, on the left side, we have the grading and drainage plan, which is the one we really want to concentrate on. The right side is the soil erosion plan. The property is graded such that we got a swale. Oh, behind the buildings now, we have areas for concrete patios to the buildings, because the buildings have now been moved forward. And there's approximately, I think, 20 or 21 feet for rear yards. And then the water is basically going to either get paved water, and the roof leaders are going to go into the detention system, which will have an overflow out into the wetlands area that's behind our property, that's on our property. And in the lawn areas, will just surface drain to the wetlands. There is a high point near the front of the building, so some of the water will go out to Troy Road, but that's very little in the overall picture.
The building drains, is it back also?
Yes, the building has roof leaders that are connected. Make sure I'm saying that right. Yes, we have pipes that connect into the storm sewer. So they will have roof leaders connected underground into the detention system, and then the overflow would go out to the rear.
And that looks like the building would drain right to the rear, and the parking lot would drain to the...
Yeah, you can see the 6-inch PVC pipes on each side with the connecting pipe that brings us out into the riprap
so
area.
it's not connected to the underground basin, it's...
No, I'm sorry, you're right, I said that wrong, I apologize. Thank you.
Is there any kind of filter on that before it goes to the basin?
We're not proposing one at this point. We can add one on. The board feels it's necessary.
If it's draining the,
Could I interrupt
parking
a
lot.
second? We're still on a bifurcated application, correct?
Yeah, we're getting in the site plan.
Yeah.
This is a bifurcated application for
You're confident, Fred, that the water from this development can be probably contained on site?
Yes, yeah, it's all gonna get
And
contained
there'll
on
be
site.
a minor amount which is probably equal to present going to
Less than present,
Troy Road.
less than present, because presently the driveway, the front of the yard and the building
All
all
of a
comes
sudden,
out.
I said, it seems
Troy
like we're
Road.
getting pretty detailed here. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
Good interruption.
Okay, so that's the bulk of the change is really the client taking the project and reducing it down by 2 units down to 3. Enhances the open space area.
I have a quick question, and I don't know if this is zoning sacrilegion here, but why only 9 spaces? Like, I'm a mother of 2. I got a husband, I got another kid coming up with I have 4 cars. And, my kid just turned 17. And I'm just thinking, the residents here, they're gonna have kids are gonna have cars. And then on top of that, you're gonna have guests. Where's that overflow parking earmarked for?
Okay.
The needs of the parking, and maybe I'm getting too ahead of things.
The parking is based on RSIS standards.
I
and we
understand
meet
that,
the requirements.
but I'm going by just general reality, and, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And so with this project now being more condensed and downsized, I'm just curious, like, why some of that wasn't used for more parking.
Really, the question in terms of the number of parking spaces is site plan. Is there space to get additional spaces on this site? Yeah, but you're gonna sacrifice green space, so.
Right, understood, but then if we approve this application and reality happens,
The density issue in terms of the township's recently adopted master plan is a non-issue. Because what this zone for, you divide the lot size, you get more than they're proposing.
Yeah.
Fred's correct, he's using RSIS as his crutch. Your comment is really, I think, a site plan answer.
okay.
If you didn't think there was any way you could get another space on the site, then I think you'd pursue what you were talking about. But I look at it and, yeah, you're just gonna have to trade off, that's all.
Right, again, this is more for impacts to neighbors, and who wants to see a whole line of cars on the side of a roadway?
Yeah, that's where your site plan and your
Okay.
landscaping plan
Thank you.
comes into play.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you.
And that's basically the major changes, unless anybody has questions.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Questions by the board?
Well, I have a question. Is there a reason why there's a driveway in and driveway out versus just one full movement driveway?
Well, first of all, because Mr. Holloway, we felt it works better with configuration for the garages and getting in and out. And if you came in one in the middle, you have to go left and you have to go right. I think it's more of a confusion or blister. We thought the circular pattern in this works the best. It's easier for the vehicle, even for the garbage truck, to maneuver in and out and around, But we did look at a single double wide driveway and then flaring off left and right.
I'm sorry if that's a site plan issue. I keep on going to the weeds.
Yeah.
No, it's a kind of an issue that 2 engineers sitting over a beer will argue this out as which way it's gonna work the best.
Any other questions by the board? Any members of the public have any questions of this witness on the testimony given this evening? I hear none and see none.
I'll call my next witness.
Call your next witness.
Mr. Mystery, you've testified previously before and your licenses are still in order?
Yes, they are.
Now, we have reduced this application by 2 units down to 3, and the unit sizes haven't changed, have they?
That's correct. They are exactly the same.
So configurations, all that, exactly the same as you testified before, just 2 less.
Correct.
Have you prepared a rendering for us to show what the new
Yes.
application massing looks like?
A11?
A11.
I actually have 2 renderings. One is the front view, the second one is the rear view. So,
That was requested, yes. The
Would you-
A11 would be the front view?
and A12 would be the rear. I'm referring to Exhibit A11, which is a 3D colorized rendering of sort of the front left view of the proposed building. As you can see, there's now 3 individual townhouse units versus what we had originally as 5. The appearance is generally the same. Just got, we took one off the right, one off the left. The size is the same. The overall dimensions are the same per unit. So architecturally, nothing has really changed except the quantity of units has decreased. And then, and it was requested that we do a rear view rendering as well. So Exhibit A12 is the rear view. We do, because as Mr. Mueller has said, that we slid the whole structure forward towards Troy Road, that we were able to accommodate small patios at the rear side. We also provided for sort of this vinyl 6-foot-high fence that just screens the individual tenants or individual dwelling unit owners from each other, just so they get a little bit of privacy. There's a little patio area, stairs that go down from the sliding door, and to get a little bit of green space behind that before the property runs out. So that's essentially the difference between what we had previously and what we have today.
Thank you, Mr. Mystery. I have no further questions for this witness.
Questions to the architect? Members of the public, any questions of the architect? I hear none and see none.
Call Mr. McDonough.
And all these witnesses have prior been sworn?
Yes, everyone's been previously sworn as part of the application. They testified.
Can I just ask one question? Have we changed the direction that these houses face, or are they always still the same way?
Always faced forward like this.
Always faced, okay. Sorry. Short-term memory loss.
Mr. McDonough, your license has expired in the last half hour or anything?
I don't know, after that last one, I'll check.
The same as the 5 unit?
Oh, no, the footprint of the
Yeah,
2
that's
units.
okay.
Take it away, Joe, please.
I got it. No,
You're
I
familiar with what's been said, and you're familiar with the prior application,
Yes, I am.
so why don't you go ahead and tell us about these modifications?
Okay, so again, to remind the board, we're here for one variance. It's a D1 use variance to allow multifamily in your R3 zone, which is a single-family zone. Interestingly, it's a 15,000 square foot zone, and if we were to take an implied density from that, it would equate to 2.9 dwelling units per acre. Plan has now evolved here where the applicant is proposing 2.4 dwelling units per acre, or the equivalent thereof. So from an intensity standpoint, even though we're not here for density relief, it's interconnected with the multifamily. This is a special site. It's an oversized lot. It's more than 3 times larger than what the R3 zone district would require as a minimum. So there is spaciousness here to accommodate this development. It's also a transitional lot. Remember, we gave the board some exhibits to show that this lot extends to those commercial uses that are on Route 46. So we're moving from commercial on Route 46 to the lower density residential on Troy Road, and this lot is sort of in between. So it's sort of this sequence or stepping down from non-residential to residential. And I think there's been good interaction here between the applicant and the board. This applicant has been responsive, has scaled back the plan to, we're now at a very boutique development, 3 dwelling units being proposed here, with setbacks that are going to be more than 4 times greater than what a single-family home could have on this property. So the adjacent properties are beneficiaries as well, with greater open space, greater light, air, and open space than what could be. Your side setback requirement is 10 feet. this plan has setbacks of 40 feet from the adjacent neighbors. So again, good greenery all around, substantially less than what could be from a lot coverage standpoint, from a building coverage standpoint, meeting the parking requirement, less than what's allowed in terms of the building height, and I think overall less mass than what the zone plan would contemplate. This particular lot has a huge building envelope that could go here. I know it's probably far-fetched, but if you actually square out the building envelope on this property, it would be 8,000 square feet, and that would actually comply with your building coverage requirement. 8,000 times 2 is a 16,000 square foot home. I know the practical reality is that that wouldn't, or logically, practically wouldn't happen here, but the zone plan says it could, and it would be conforming in that regard. I Googled what a 16,000 square foot house looks like, and it looks like one of those homes you'd see out in Bernardsville or the Mendhams or one of those. I don't know if we have any here in Parsippany, but it certainly would be out of character with the surrounding neighborhood. Whether or not it's real that it would happen, the zone plan says it could happen there. So all said, I think the application has evolved to the extent that all of those proofs that I put on the record, I think back in January and then again in May, I won't go through them again, but I believe the D1 test is met here, even stronger with this scale back than what was previously proposed here. So with that, I know we have to come back for site plan, but I think purely from a use standpoint, the applicant has met its burden and the statutory criteria are met.
Now, the oversized nature of this lot is actually providing the buffering from the other uses that are less desirable, so no one's putting 16,000 square foot homes next to shopping centers, highways, et cetera, right?
That is correct. This is a much more appropriate step down. It's a very modest project in terms of scale, and I think really appropriate for the location. It's not going to impair the character of the neighborhood here. This is not in the heart of one of the, I'll say, the lake communities where it'll stand out like a sore thumb, but will actually, I think, blend with that which is around it. And remember I said last time that even Troy Road itself has a diversity of forms and uses. We've got some commercial uses, we've got the Tempo right down the street, the Ozone is just a couple lots away from here, and this is just a small pocket of residential on this side of the street. So towards the negative criteria, I think the board can find that this will not be substantially detrimental to the public or without any substantial impairment to the zone plan.
It's a substantial upgrade of the housing stock that's there now.
Yes, I think 3 key points. Number 1 is that the existing house, we gave you some photographs, it's pretty dismal, wasn't caused by this applicant. I think it's a good thing to be putting investment into this property and try to add value and quality, which will go to the neighborhood. I think the second point, of course, is what could be here. It could be a much larger home, maybe not that 16,000 square foot home, but a much larger home could be here. And I think the smaller townhouse units go more towards an appropriate market than one larger home, which would be, I think, a luxury home here, which I think is more out of context with the neighborhood.
Provides the necessary opportunity for housing for that level of the market.
It is a fundamental goal of planning in general and your own master plan to provide for diversified housing stock, and I think this is more on point towards that goal than the big monster house on this lot.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. I have
You're
no
welcome.
further questions.
Any questions of Mr. McDonough? Members of the public have any questions of Mr. McDonough?
I have no further witnesses, Mr. Chair.
I have a general
No,
question.
we have a question for the public, I think.
You have a question?
No, he wants to say something.
Well,
Okay.
if you want to testify, you're gonna have to wait a minute, okay? Okay.
My question is, I don't recall, I know it made inquiry before. Is this gonna be rentals or a fee or?
It's going to be a condo, he said.
Is it gonna be condo? So is it, the lot can be divided up into 3 lots?
No, it's going to condo.
Just condo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there like an HOA? Who's going to maintain the lawn?
They'll have to have an owners association, a condo
Okay,
association.
that's very, mhm.
They'll maintain the open common spaces and the lawn, snow removal, et
And
cetera.
what's the total square footage of living space? I don't know who
We
to
have
ask.
to bring back Mr. Mystery for that.
2,200.
Each unit is approximately 2,000 square feet plus about 200 square feet for the garage.
Okay.
These units have basements, planned basements?
Yes, there is a basement, yeah.
And bedrooms, how many bedrooms?
There's 3 bedrooms upstairs.
Sir, do you have a question for?
No,
yeah, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Any other questions by the board? Any other questions by the public? Do you want me to see if there's any people who want to speak before you sum?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, at this
Chairman.
point, are any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application? In opposition to this application? Any members of the public who wish to speak in support of this application? Please come forward. We're going to swear you in, okay? So raise your hand.
So you swear affirm testimony about to give before the board, true self you got? And for the record, can you state and spell your name?
My name is Vipul Gandhi,
Can you
Spell that.
Vipul. Last name is Gandhi, Gandhi.
And where is your residence?
I live in Forge Pond community, and that's, Matthew Court across the Troy Road.
Okay. Do you have any relationship to the owner of this property?
No, I don't have any relation.
Okay. You may proceed.
But I live in this area, and that's why I thought, to come. So, I do pass by this area a lot. I live in that nearby area. I go to the, Indian shop around there. There's a hot bread in the back. So current location that the house that has, it's an old house. And looking at this, looks like fabulous. It's going to grow the beauty of the town. That's what I feel. Also, I think that the town will benefit with the revenue or the taxes that's coming out from here. So I think that's a very positive thing that I'm looking at. Would definitely consider that, it's a very good property here, and that will make the surrounding very beautiful in the town. That's what I feel. With what sits currently compared to what we have right now.
Thank you. Any questions of this witness?
Nope. Thank you.
Mr. O'Neill, you have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Any other members of the public who wish to speak in support, please come forward.
Thank you.
Can you raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony about to give before the board, true self you got?
I
For
do.
the record, can you state and spell your name?
Yeah, my name is Mehul Barot, B-A-R-O-T, my last name. I am one of the directors at the ISKCON.
What's your
First name?
address, please?
Oh, I live at 66 Lawrence Road in Parsippany. And I am one of the directors at the ISKCON International Society for Krishna Consciousness Temple. That is just about a couple of houses down from this particular property. And I wish to make a statement that we welcome this development to the neighborhood. It adds a nice facelift to the area, to the street. It's not out of character with the neighborhood. And in our particular interest, it'll add to the population that can easily walk to our temple and take advantage of the benefits that we bring to the community. And so we'd like to see more members of the community, if there's only one house there, there'll be only one family. This will probably be 3 families who are walkable to our temple. So that, in that sense, we welcome them. And it makes everything look nicer. So that's just our general statement.
Any questions of this witness? Mr. O'Neill, you have any questions?
No questions.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other members of the public who wish to speak in support, please come forward.
So raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give before the board, true self you got? For the record, can you state and spell your name?
My name is Victor Baracca, L-A-R-A-C-C-A.
And can you tell us where you live, your address?
No, I live in Whitney, but I have a property across the street from this,
So Whitney?
yeah,
Or Hanover?
Whitney, New Jersey, yes, then on the township.
You may proceed. You can proceed.
Okay. I agree with these 2 gentlemen behind me. That looks a lot better than what's there now. I believe that the property's gonna bring a lot more revenue for Parsippany, especially if we lost some revenue with the temple going there, which is gonna be paying property taxes. So I see that's a beauty for that street, not a problem for that area. It looks very nice.
Thank you. Any questions of this witness? Mr. O'Neill?
No questions.
Thank you, sir. Mr. O'Neill, you want to sum? Any other members of the public who wish to speak in support? Hearing none, seeing none. Mr. O'Neill, you want to say?
Yes, I want to thank the board for allowing us to come back with a redesign of this application. We think we've captured the comments that the board made before while we were doing it with 5. We think that this reduction is more in keeping with the massing and use there on that street. It's a good transitional property and a good use and upgrade of the housing stock currently in the area that's being used as for working people. We think that this is a great improvement and it's variance-free except for the one use variance, but we think it's an appropriate use and the site can easily handle it because of the buffering and everything that was discussed. And I'd hope the board would see fit to grant approval for this application. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we need to go into conference or is there any objection to this, plan? Why doesn't someone make a substantial comment as to why we should approve it?
I'm going to be voting for it. I think the applicant was very agreeable in making it smaller. I think there is a demand not only from the temple, but in the community itself and that side of town, especially the commute is very easy from there. The buses run right on 46. I think it totally I live a mile from there. I drive on that street all the time. The block needs help, needs to look better, and I think this is certainly going to help with that. So I will be including the green space. They take care of parking. So I will be voting for it. That enough?
Very good, excellent. Volunteer to frame a resolution?
Good, Scott, you're on a roll.
Is this it? No.
Nancy, go ahead. Hi, Mr. Chairman. I move that we, on application 20:45, Nakul Kazadwala at 130 Troy Road, block 726, lot 15 in the R3 zone, grant the necessary C and D variance on this application to allow the construction of 3 townhomes as submitted in the plans.
Second, Snyder.
Any discussion, Nora, call the roll?
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Parikh.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Willen.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
You too. Good luck.
Can I have a show of hands of our virtual meeting on the 13th of who will be available?
Of October, right?
Yes.
I'm not here.
Mr. Parikh, are you?
I'm checking.
Okay.
On 14th, I'm going to Florida, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, I'll be okay.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna be a little bit delayed, and I believe Ms. Snyder is gonna be there. So, Mr. Berkowitz will run the meeting until I get online. Any other business? Moving to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second, Justin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, that's St. Peter's. St. Chris. St. Peter's.
Blue shot now, this shot.
Right?
I'm totally shot.
I'll have to say. Oh, yeah, you do well. Just watch my purse, sorry about that. I hustle from work, so it's like, I don't know if I'm coming or going. I need like an ID tag for my gym.
Guys, it's really,
Like a needle.
Not like I was.